The Whiskey Brothers.
Welcome to the Whiskey Brothers podcast, everybody. 1035, the number 1035. It's just spaghetti at this point.
Yeah.
I don't even hear. There's no difference between them. I'm Slade Ham, your host. This is Jerry Wayne Longmire. My co-host, Sam Damaris, is not with us. This is the first of a different iteration of delivery of the Whiskey Brothers. With
the bi-weekly
yeah,
delivery.
whatever word. Man, I struggled with that on a thing previously. I don't know if it's bi-weekly or bi-monthly, but every other week you'll get a second hour-long episode, or a first and then a second. That'll happen twice a month. Trey Tutson, no longer with the Whiskey Brothers podcast or whatever. Somebody messaged and they were like, "Did you say that last week or did you not?" I was like, was it not clear? But this is the first one, so you gotta mention it officially. Officially, the cast is myself and Jerry Wayne and Sam Damaris now, and so like 2.5 Whiskey Brothers. So we're joined this month. Mark Hurtado will be with us for both episodes,
What up, y'all?
A frequent guest previously, and then also Mycal Dede. Welcome back to the show. You've been on, and also a standout on Is This Thing On?
Yeah,
the other
love
show
that.
we
That's
hosted.
so much fun.
We may be doing something different with that soon. And Adam Taylor running back of house. Cheers. Good to see you as always. Director extraordinaire, really wasting his finger skills on buttons for us. Jerry, we're taping on July 4th.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
You drinking the peanut butter?
Yeah,
That's the
pretty
Texas
good, ain't it?
Ranger peanut butter.
I love that.
I've had the.
I
forgot-
absolutely love that.
Typically,
Wow.
peanut butter will taste like a liqueur or something, like a mixer, but this actually kind of.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be real
like,
sirpy, but no,
yeah.
it's just enough.
All
Now-
of those
now,
flavored
if you
ones.
get carried away, there's a headache at the end of it.
Yeah, I tried to do the Jameson orange, and it's just kind of like a mixer. It's like too
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah, it's like drinking a
Most,
cream.
most of the cordials, that's the way I walk it. Even like SoCo and shit, like,
Yeah.
it's too sweet.
No,
I drink for the headache, for punishment. You know.
Oof,
Fourth of
no,
July.
that's but that's subtle, and that's of all the flavored ones. That's the one I tend to go to. I am back on my bullshit, my Stranahan sherry cask. So, cheers, Mark. Wait,
Cheers.
nice to wait for us. We appreciate it.
I'm a wild card here.
I
You
didn't.
know what I mean?
That's to
by
whatever
my own
Mark was
rules.
wishing for.
Y'all too
Happy
slow.
birthday. There's. You got July 4th plans with the kids, Jerry. You gonna go blow some hillbilly shit up later?
Oh,
What
no,
do your
you know,
people do?
we're all bougie now. We live on Alton Parkway, so we're just going to walk down and watch the big fireworks show across the street.
Uh-huh.
If I ever get back home today, because, they shut all that shit down.
Oh,
It took me a minute to
that's
get over
right.
here.
That's right.
'Cause they start
it's a
shutting it down
special
early.
day for us because my son was born on July 2nd, and the day I brought him and Rachel home from the hospital was July 4th, and we came home in the evening. The fireworks were going off and shit.
oh,
It
ironically,
was a
the
really cool moment.
day you
know?
lost your independence.
Yeah. This is always a fun. My birthday's at the end of this week, and so traditionally, years, we go float the river on my birthday. Cause
Wait,
it's
when's
the
your
week
birthday?
After July 4th, July 8th.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. What are the
Last year
plans?
we recorded a comedy special on that day.
We did that a year ago?
Yeah, man.
We made your special a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should record a comedy special on the lake. That's a good idea. Just floating with the mic.
Just down the Como.
Just a crowd of people linked up
Avoiding
in their
bottles.
tubes,
Hell
just
yeah.
laughing and peeing.
Hell yeah.
So do you blow stuff up on the holiday?
Not anymore. Used to. Bunch.
Yeah. I mean, is that like ancestral?
Yeah. I mean, that's look. My aunt with money had a fireworks stand, and
Wait.
that's like the hillbilly trifecta of retirement is either a fireworks stand, snow cone, or barbecue stand.
Was this?
If you got one of them, you can survive.
Bro,
on
if you
those.
That's
got
their
a-
redneck monopoly. Yeah.
Do they issue licenses?
My
for-
aunt actually had all three.
Okay, do they issue licenses? Like I always think about this when you drive up, you do one of those East Texas gigs, you go up to like Cleveland, and you see like the 2 or 3 snow cone stands, and you go, well, there must be some zoning involved, otherwise everyone would open a snow cone stand, right? What is it? The Wild West? Can anybody just pop
man.
one up on a corner
If
as long
you
as
got
you
a
got
trailer that you can do shit in?
you can have one of these stands. You can do barbecue, snow cones.
You can sell anything
fireworks.
you want out of it?
You can do Snowworks, Firecones, whatever the fuck you want. Really, there's not a lot of rules.
if you've got shit that you can put in a trailer and sell, people will show up and buy it from that trailer. I don't know if you've ever driven up 59.
Yeah, no.
You could sell swords on the side of the highway in 59, and people will show up to buy swords from you. And
But
get
It's such a
and
southern
Elvis
thing
paintings.
down here. There's like a trailer exception to general rules because getting a restaurant, my parents are in food.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like, you could just put it in a trailer. We'll buy it.
That's where everybody screws up. That's where everybody screws up. It's like, oh, I want to start a food truck. No, there's too many rules, dog.
Shout out to
trailer.
Snow
Trailer.
Cones. It's the original
You need a
taco
food
stand.
trailer.
You know, that's the
Right.
prequel.
Yeah.
To,
That's so, but that's the question. Is it like drug dealer rules, where like one snow cone stand per corner, and then they got to juice it off or something?
There were fights over
Right.
locations back in the day, and people paid
Who gets the Walmart
bribes
parking lot?
to whoever owned the property to keep their location. My aunt had like a really good ass location for a long
Would
time.
you not watch
this is
a
Snow
Netflix?
Cone territory, boy.
Would you not watch a Netflix special about the turf wars of
Oh
the?
yeah, man. That's
the
way better
snow
than
cone
Storage
stand?
Wars. I want to watch Trailer Wars.
Yeah.
I'd watch an entire documentary on that.
Fucking hillbillies arguing with gas station owners.
On who
You
rises
had
to
me
the
in
top.
You had me been at Hillbillies arguing. I've been in Channel View. I know what that sounds like. It's
Oh
a,
my
There's
God!
only two type of staff that work there. It's like the friendly lady or the disgruntled teen kid. Like
Oh,
the teen
yeah.
white kid who's just there and just kind of high or whatever.
I told him we don't give fucking free cream.
But you got the hillbilly. It's like I got $150 in my pocket and the Diablo Demon package. That's all yours. If I got my trailer on the corner of your gas station.
Oh, that one's got the little swirly birds at
Nah,
the
man.
bottom too.
My aunt had her trailer on the gas station on the corner of a barbecue joint, a really popular barbecue joint. And she would bribe them so that she could keep it there every year, and she made buku dollars on it. I guess.
Dude, there's a
She was the only person in my family that didn't wear a jumpsuit to work.
that's how you knew she was
I feel
the
like
boss.
she's doing good.
There's a dirty firework mafia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People shaking people down for fireworks stand
Ah,
money.
it's just hillbillies.
I feel like the math at fireworks stations never makes sense. 'Cause
You're open 3 days a year.
Yeah, and they're apparently making a bunch of money, but like you go up there and be like, how much is that? And they're like $30. I'm like, I don't have. They're like, well, how about 5?
What are they open? New Year's Eve, 4th of July, Dale Earnhart's birthday. What is the what are the
You
3
got the
days?
4th and New Year's, and then as long as there ain't no fire band going on in your county, you can make some good money.
Right. so-
Now they got these ones that you drive by now, and it's like a full building that sits there year round. Like, how do you pull that off? Is it like the Dollar General model, where somebody just gave you the land and you just decided to pop up a store there?
I mean, yeah, I don't know the interest. See, do you see now why a documentary is needed?
Yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah, we did a lot of crazy shit with fireworks. So me and my cousins, we all would be out at the lake every summer, and we were pretty much unsupervised and just kind of went ape shit with it, Yeah, it's a miracle. I've got all my fingers, all my toes.
So I watch. I like to watch firework accidents on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Does that tell you what kind of person I am?
It's like, I love watching people injure
I
themselves.
forgot about that genre. It's like
It's-
that and then fireworks.
Yeah, it's like-
that's my favorite.
There's homeless
one to
people
watch.
fighting, fireworks, animal video.
That's why when I was on social, people would always be like, "Nobody wants to see your dumb firework video." I go, "You were saying that incorrectly. I want to see your dumb firework video."
Please show me
That's
this.
we used to do when I was the Southeast Texas kid in me we would get the big artillery shells, right? Like the one that would come in that big, thick
Yeah.
cardboard tube, and you would drop one in there. It would have like that 6-foot wick, and then we would take that and we would braid like 6 of them together.
Yeah.
And then once you had the braided fuse, you would light that, and then you would fling it as high in the air as you could. And you knew it was always going to hit the ground before it blew up. If you did it right, it would be like 3 feet off the ground.
I love those clearly bad ideas that people do. It's like there's no
This
no
is-
one that thinks it's not a bad idea.
We
You
do.
still pursue it with
You
full
do- you have to,
determination. Like this
yeah.
time it's gonna work.
I took a pumpkin and filled it with gasoline one time, and then I put it down in like a big trash can, and then I like leaned into. The younger me was such a dumber version. I leaned in to light it. I don't know what I was thinking.
Jesus
yeah, totally.
Christ.
And it went, bro. Everything on my face turned yellow. Like
That's
my
amazing.
my
Watch your
eyebrows went
eyebrows.
albino, and then what was scariest was my eyelashes sort of melted together a little bit. So I was trying to open my eyes. I thought they were open, and I was just blind.
Were they melted together, or was it just like splattered pumpkin jizz?
It could have been that too. I don't know how long it takes.
It's very
pumpkin
sticky. I don't know if
jizz
you ever
Get a
fucked a
facial?
pumpkin.
to harden. But I think they were melted together, and they're like part of my goatee or whatever dumb thing I had in the '90s. It just
Oh, you did this after you were old enough to
so,
have
yeah.
facial hair. Fuck, I don't feel bad for you.
Never mind. Yeah,
I thought this was like a kid's story.
I thought you were 7. No, this guy was 20. He had a driver's license. He voted.
I was figuring like 13.
I might have been like 18, but we were like fucked up all the time. We were hellions. That was a
Where did you grow up, Mark? Did y'all have like fireworks?
So
and shit?
Sage Glen, I guess just like South Houston, like
Okay.
Sage Glen, kind of like by Fuqua.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool, cool.
yeah, like so that area.
So it's probably legal back then. You could probably get crazy with
Oh,
it.
is it illegal now?
Everywhere
Fireworks
in the city
inside the
of
loop?
Houston,
Yeah.
What? I always just saw the
Well, that's
stands
not
and
inside
stuff.
the loop.
Yeah, you see the
That's way
stands
outside
pop
the loop.
up. You go and buy there, and they're all fucking labeled weird. Like this one's called like Doom Titty or whatever. They're all like
They used to
weird
have a lot of
marketing.
racist names when I was younger.
Yeah, they
Remember
did.
that?
I remember
Yeah.
that.
I don't know if
Yeah.
the Chinese did that or that was up on import after they got to Texas.
They had a big red one called the Black Man's Lips or something like that. I'm like, wow,
What?
brother.
I mean, I'd buy them.
I buy him. Yeah, we buy 'em.
so, yeah, but what's
Pretty
it do?
good. Exactly.
Right, so we know it's loud.
I asked
I just
that
remember
question.
the guy rattling
This one
off
in
the
a movie
names of
theater,
them to
so
us when
loud.
I
Let me
was a
check.
kid, and you're just like, I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Yeah, that, go
It
ahead.
chases what? That's where, like,
When we grew up, I lived in Pennsylvania half the year, and then Houston half the year. Now, when I lived in Pennsylvania, it was like a rural town. You could blow up whatever. Everyone had a, but when I lived in Houston, I stayed in the Loop, and sometimes we stayed at like the public housing, like those Clayton homes over there, and no one had fireworks except for the white people who also lived in the public housing, and we would just let them bust it. I don't know why. It was like they won't get in trouble. They're fine, but everyone would have, and they would never have like legit fireworks. It'd always do like some secondhand.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Because it's not black cats, it's like black dogs or whatever.
the M65.
Go ahead.
I want to ask the tale because I'm under the impression this might just be like a Mexican thing. The watching fireworks explode in the sky wasn't a thing we did. We would buy fireworks and just kind of fuck shit up and shoot
In
it
your
at each
drive-
other.
Yeah, so-
we
yeah,
would
yeah.
just-
We did.
So that
we were
was my
never
question.
Looking at the sky, like we were
We
just
all made
shooting them at each
we
other.
made
and
bottle
stuff.
rocket guns. That
Uh-huh.
was pieces
Yeah,
of
we were just
PVC
blowing.
we'd find in the junkyard, and then we'd drive around town after we were teenagers and shoot bottle rockets off at shit. Which,
this is real
I shot
hillbilly
one
engineering.
through.
Yeah.
I shot one through the McDonald's parking lot to surprise my friend, who was like pulling into the drive-through. I tried to like hit his car with it, and it hit the hood of his car and bounced up and went right into a cop car's windshield that was like turning onto the street behind
Oh Jesus!
McDonald's.
Yeah,
Incredible.
that's the fun. Fireworks are.
It
I
was
don't-
hot.
Nobody enjoys watching fireworks. Fireworks are fun because you get to manipulate fire.
There's only like 4
explosions.
kinds of fireworks. There's like the big globe. There's like the one that goes out for a second, like oh, and then it pops. There's like the one that does like the waterfall jazz hands kind of a thing. And there's like, and that's it.
My
You
favorite
just see
one-
that and repeat. you
My
know?
favorite one is the sometimes is the little like that little butterfly when you throw it. It goes.
Oh,
It
yeah,
reminds me of like a short dude getting angry. Like it just. Like you just. Yeah. You just
I used to
step
like
on
all
them.
the ones that look like little tanks and stuff. And you'd light them up, and they'd roll about 3 inches and explode, because their wheels were cardboard.
Of course, none of them worked.
Did any of y'all go through the anthill phase where
Oh,
you're just
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
just shoving those in there? Yeah,
We took that a step. So we had found out how to get my grandpa's gun cabinet, and we'd get us like a 410 shell or something and stick it in an ant pile, wedge it down in there, and then go hide behind a tree and try to shoot the primer with our BB guns.
Oh,
Any non-Texans listening don't know what like real warfare is when you live with fire ants. There's like kind of an unspoken rivalry
man.
that happens.
There is. I don't believe in cruelty to animals.
Those aren't animals.
Fuck
They're
fire
not.
ants.
They're
Fire
alien
ants are.
creatures sent here to
I don't
destroy
know.
us.
Someone is going to have to show me hardcore scientific evidence to their necessity in an ecosystem. They should be exterminated. I don't know how that's not the unifying front to humanity. If there were fire ants in Russia, we wouldn't even have this problem.
Yeah.
The crazy ones we got now that came over from Venezuela, and these new like black Venezuelan fire ants
You can't
that are
drown
like
them.
super.
They're surviving the
they're not like
floods.
your.
It's insane.
They're,
And
they're
not
Lenin-
like your
Lenin-
old
do you remember
school-
that? Do you remember that story? We had to read it in probably middle school. Leningen and the Ants, and it was about this. God, am I making this up? Maybe I dreamed this.
It's about the army ants.
Leningen and the Ants. It was a guy, and I think he was trapped in a forest or something, and this army of ants was marching through, like killing everything, and he would try to cross a river, and they would bond
make
together and make
flotillas,
bridges, and
Yeah.
That's true stuff. That's army ants in the continent of Africa. They're incredible.
Who would have written it? It sounds like some Hemingway shit. Like somebody who would have just anyway. That was a whole
I
story.
read a lot of stories about those things. They're
I bet the
crazy
ants
shit.
won.
They will fill ditches around the farms. They will dig like 3-foot ditches with excavators and fill it with kerosene and light it on fire. And these some bitches will still just climb across the
Just
bodies
light
of their
fire
dead
it away.
buddies to get across.
Ants in California, they don't bite. They don't bite. Like, I guess because they're liberal or whatever.
Yeah.
But
It's not legal.
I'm like, this is how it should be. You should just be a little like crawl on you, and you just can't, like, it's not a thing. And fire ants are just
They bite you
they're
for no reason.
They choose violence.
Fire ants, you'll have like 30 of them on you and not even know it, and they all attack at the same time.
It's a very weird
They
thing.
excrete a
Whatever.
pheromone.
They're one of the few bugs. Them and red wasps. They're one of the few bugs that start it.
Yeah.
Like it's
a red wasp. You're exactly right. A red wasp will come after your ass, chase your
for
ass
no
down.
reason. Like I wasn't even near your shit. You just saw me.
He's like,
and
yeah, but you
came
thought about it.
Exactly.
You thought about it.
exactly. That's I know what you were gonna do. Those fucking bugs that try to read your intentions.
The only good thing about red wasps, they're like super territorial. So the easiest thing to do is when you find a nest, is spray it all down, kill them, and then leave that nest hanging there. And they'll never another group of
As
fire.
a reminder.
They won't come back and put a nest there because they'll think another. I don't know. if
Well,
they
why
have
don't
tribes
do they just
or
sell?
family.
Do they sell fake red wasp nests? That
Oh,
you
they
can
do.
just
They're like
stick in the corner?
$400. So that's why I was like,
Nah,
yeah.
I'll be
They're like artist replica. You go on Etsy
I
and there's
prefer
some
mine
girls probably got
organic.
one for like $5,000 right now.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not.
You could be making it. There are people more successful in the fake wasp nest industry than some of us are at stand up.
That's incredible.
We should do a podcast about it.
That's. I
Sell
bet
that
there's
on-
a.
on QVC.
Fake wasp nest talk.
I bet there is a podcast dedicated to fake insect nests.
And I bet it has sponsors.
Yes, yes. I guarantee you it does. I guarantee you it does.
I'm gonna put a fake wasp nest on my fake bird that we keep outside the house, and I just kind of have two birds. And the fake owls that you have. They're just, I guess, I don't know. Birds are racist against owls. Like, oh, there's one there, and no, I'm good. Different neighborhood.
Well, it's like weirdest thing too, because the birds get used to those, and so you got to like move them around and shit, or they don't work. Like,
Well, because
They
they
get-
know
they get
that the
smart.
bird hasn't moved.
yeah, my friend has these like gardens and stuff, grows all kind of crazy shit, and he has all these fake rubber snakes in them. And I don't know if he's just getting neurotic about it. He's like in his 60s, but he gets up at like 6 in the morning, goes out there and rearranges the snakes.
I've never heard about no
And-
fake
and-
rubber snake doing
Is
it.
there-
and he like coils them and shit, and the birds.
He's gonna
won't
get
come
bit by
around.
one day.
Yeah, he's gonna go out to grab one of the fake ones.
Some
that are
snakes
real.
gonna be like, that snake hasn't moved. I'm gonna fuck it.
Right? Is there science to that, or is that just like an old man's logic? Oh, I've been watching this garden for many moons.
Yeah, I think maybe he's just gotten a little neurotic with it because he
Yeah.
like 6 in the morning he will be out there moving them snakes around. He's like, they get used to it. He sounds like he's talking about like they're Charlie in the trees. you
Yeah,
know? Like,
that's what it's exactly what I'm saying. I think that's just some
pull flank.
Yeah. I've never heard that. He's the dude who got too drunk and orders to crate of fake snakes on Amazon.
Well,
Like,
I've seen
now
a
what
lot
am I
of
going
people
to
use
do?
the snakes, but I've never seen anybody go to the trouble he goes to
of
rearrange
rearranging them. He should
But
do
it's
is
a very particular garden.
he should build some sort of mechanized device that rearranges the snakes for him. So they're just on like a rotating sort of disc.
Man, at
He
this
should
point,
get-
just get a snake.
He should get real snakes. Yeah.
I just think
Buy a
I just
few
think buy
snakes.
about 10 rat snakes and let
Yeah,
them go.
just
let
They're
'em-
not gonna hurt anybody.
Let them vibe. They'll have fun.
Yeah.
But he grows a type of crop that sometimes isn't associated with people that are
Marijuana.
hunter. So I don't know if it's like fucking with his own supply type shit, you know.
Maybe just
Bro's a little
paranoid.
strung out.
Thinks the snakes are everywhere.
Yeah.
Or the birds.
Snakes, tree police, whatever you want, you know.
But yeah, I'd kill fire ants.
Yeah.
I'd put the thing in there.
Full blown genocide, unapologetic genocide. I would march through a field of fire ants with a blowtorch, and if you told me that every pull of the trigger killed X, I would do it with
I
this. I
just
would
like-
put a kill count on
I
the
like-
back of my helmet.
Pouring gasoline on
Yeah,
a mound
I
and
did
lighting
that.
it and playing Pompeii.
Were you guys ever mowing the lawn and you saw a anthill up ahead and you kind of got a bit excited about it,
Yeah,
like
about
a
that.
bit sadistic
Until it
about
threw
it?
fire ants all
Yeah,
over
and
you.
then your shin was covered in sweaty fire ants.
Yeah.
Because they stick
Recently
to
displaced.
the stick to the sweat would be the problem. It would go and your shins were all sweaty from that August summer, and you just have dirt and fire ants. But
Texas.
God,
And-
Absolutely love it.
yeah,
don't you miss it?
yeah.
Sunny
It's wild
LA.
out here. Roaches aren't even shit in California. They're tiny. They're like they don't have cockroaches. You know what I mean? They're just like little bugs.
What the insistence is on bringing these things up around
We
me.
used to have problems with them when I was young, like we lived out in A-Leaf and stuff. But honestly, I've never had a problem with roaches at any house that I've lived in as an adult.
Well, there's a difference between having a problem with them and then they just get in.
We just don't. We had never had them, but we always use like pest control and shit like that. But man, I've done some jobs for people's houses. Man, where I go out, like we do a foundation inspection. A lot of times you kind of got to get down the floor and see if the floor's moving and stuff. And I walked into this one lady's house in the Woodlands, like kind of a nice area of the Woodlands. And I went to get down on the floor and I saw something jump out of the carpet. And I realized very quickly it was a flea. I was like, okay.
Oh, God.
And then like under the entertainment center, it looked like. It looked like Custer's last stand of cockroaches waiting to come out when the lights went out.
No.
And I was like, okay, I can't finish this inspection.
Yeah.
My brother does. One of my brothers does. He runs a pest control spot, and I couldn't do it. I mean, it's amazing. It's I'm a little. There's some bugs. I don't dislike bugs. I'm cool with bugs, but like we've talked roaches in particular.
Yeah, you don't do it. I sent you that video of us busting up that concrete.
I don't get it. I thought about it. I'm like, is this like bigotry? Because like they don't even bite you or anything.
Nah.
Like, why do I not like them?
It's
You
because
know what
they're
I mean?
brown.
Ugh, so am I though.
That's bad inner feelings
Yeah.
to deal with.
Like, why don't I like you? Like what's inside there? I mean, they're just.
It's because one, they've got that crusty sort of outer skeleton, and then two, they got that greenish blood that looks like coffee creamer or something. Just the inside of something shouldn't look
I
like
just
that.
associate roaches with filth, and I just can't go to someone's house if it's like too dirty. It just like stresses me out because it's like I don't want to touch anything. I don't
Well,
wanna
but
sit.
You don't hang out with comics.
Yes.
Got it.
There's a difference between like if I'm at your place and everything's like normal looking, and then we're watching TV and like a roach like ducks across the top corner or something of the wall.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's different to me. If you turn on your kitchen lights and they scatter,
That means they were there.
we got to go somewhere else.
You get that shrill feeling?
Yes.
If
Oh,
there
so
was a
gross.
scorpion in your kitchen, I'd be like, oh, cool.
Right.
And that thing's dangerous. You know what I mean?
But if you turned on
Yeah.
the lights and there were 64 scorpions and they all scattered, you would be like, I can't stay at your place.
I hate
What's
San
your
Marcos.
problem?
I'd be like,
That's
Because that's how my friend's house is in San Jorge. Nice
what-
house, but you go in that house, you're going to see a scorpion at some point in the day.
no.
Just like-
There should
Yeah.
never be a scorpion in your house that isn't a pet, and even then, we should have talks about your choices.
I slept in their guest room, and they were like, "Hey, before you put your shoes on in the morning, shake them out." And I was like, "Hey, for what?"
Do they have floors?
that's always fun.
Do they have floors, or is it just San Marcos?
No, they got floors. It's nice. Like I said, it's a nice house. But
How
they
do
get-
scorpions? What attracts scorpions?
Those little bark scorpions just get in anywhere. They're so tiny, man, and they'll go anywhere where there's a source of water. So, like, they'll go.
They
they'll
got
find
an
them in
app.
your
They know
bathtub.
where the
and-
things are.
Oh, it's that's
This has been such a guy conversation we've had. We've talked about blowing things up and scorpions.
It's
So
the 4th
this
of
is what-
July, goddammit.
This is incredible. I love it.
America.
Do you love your country or not?
No, I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
but
Jerry,
it's
you sent an article. Let's talk about some of these songs. I didn't know there were this many patriotic songs. If you asked me just without having read, if you were like, name all the patriotic songs, I would tell
Old
you
Town Road.
the Star Spangled Banner,
Mr. Brightside.
That's a Christian song.
Born in the USA, and then
Born in East LA.
that's so much better. And America the Beautiful, I think, would have been the ones I would have named.
Well, I knew the Star Spangled Banner, and I always knew like Francis Scott Key was like pretty heavily socialist dude. Like that's what a lot of that.
What is the myth on that? Because I've heard socialism, I've heard racism, I've heard
Well,
all
definitely,
the
no,
isms.
definitely a socialist dude, and the guy that like put all that together and put the Pledge of Allegiance together was like a socialist. He was writing a socialist magazine, and he was pushing all this. And it's really weird the group of people that cling to it now because they're also the ones that are really mad at socialists. Yeah, but I'm not sure they know what they are. You know, I heard a Army vet bitching about socialism the other day.
Wait,
I
what's
was
the
like,
song
well,
about?
You pretty much live in socialism most of your life.
pretty
Wait,
much
what's
it.
the song about that has socialist undertones or whatever? Or
The
like,
Star Spangled Banner.
yeah, I'm trying. It just
Well,
sounds
so-
kind of like
It's just
innocuous,
so much
right?
that he wrote it as a nationalism type thing, like a
I'm reading what the, but here
yeah.
they're complaining about in this article. They're complaining,
But he
about
stole it.
the tune, right? The tune, the melody, I guess,
Oh yeah.
is from a song.
It's a drinking song, drinking and fucking song.
The anacreontic song to Anacreon.
Sorry, if someone's
He's
having
Greek.
sex to that song, that's like not my scene.
Well, it seems like it was mostly dudes.
That makes sense.
You know,
To the original lyrics to Anacreon in heaven, where he sat in full glee, a few sons of harmony sent a petition. What the fuck is this?
I like
Anacreon was a Greek poet, a failed Greek poet, I'm guessing. Wow.
I like
they sung
the-
different songs in bars back then. Nobody knew that song by Fun yet.
But how is okay?
Isn't that wild? Before there was actual music, people would just sing the songs.
This other shit that they heard one other dude sing.
Yeah.
I love the song.
Have you heard this banger?
This land is your land. I think that's
That's a good one.
That's the funniest one. To
Yeah,
me.
most of these don't hold up. I feel like
yeah,
that
it's like
one.
this land is your. Because who were they singing that to?
Kinda
Woody-
rubbing it in
Woody
your face,
Guthrie
right?
was
This is how
actually-
funny it was.
So wait, when did this Land Is Your Land came out?
It was kind of like an answer to America the Free. As Woody Guthrie was kind of being a
So that was
Being himself,
1945. Was that
that was a little later than that.
okay? Whatever. Guthrie, This Land Is Your. See, I don't know where any of these. I would have thought that song was like something pioneers sang their children.
Yeah.
That's really Guthrie wrote that.
Yeah. But the chorus is supposed to be a little combative, on that it's supposed to be a little like this is our land, not their land.
There was a big
We don't know
howl
who
there
they
that
are.
tried to stop me. Sign was painted.
Fuck
Said
honest.
private
Now
property.
people say it's like corporations and stuff, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's okay. This is look at all
These are all corny songs.
How
The one that
patriotic-
made me laugh is the Yankee Doodle Dandy one because
That's a good one.
the
Yeah.
idea that Italian men had such a stereotype for being effeminate that they called them fops
Yeah.
is the funniest shit I've ever heard in my
So
life.
wait, is
Like,
that
what's a
where
fop
the,
mean?
the
or
ter-
macaroni was another
I
slang
mean,
term.
it's basically you can't. I've retired from saying the other F word, but we got a new one now. Like,
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
now we're dusting this one off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
bring
yeah.
this one
so
back.
wait, so the term I know the term foppish dandy,
Yeah, so there you go.
You
So
get
it's
it.
along-
You get
it's
what it
along those
sounds like.
lines.
and I don't know what that means, but I can use context clues.
But macaroni was used as a way to denote that it was Italians because apparently there was this huge stereotype that Italian men were effeminate. I don't know if that's why Italian men are like they are now.
overly the
Like
other
it's
direction.
just like fuck you. We got Rocky now. You're not
Yeah.
gonna say that shit
You-
about us no more.
You telling me you're at like some fun outdoor party and there's a couple of foppish dandies around, you're not going to have a good time. You know?
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
god,
It's
it's
like
gonna be
like funner
because the
you
foppish
know?
dandies put the
Yeah.
party on.
Like,
That's
Quit-
my favorite
quit
game when I was a
tickling me,
kid.
you
When
know?
you throw the
Yeah.
football up in the air, it was smear the foppish dandies.
That was-
Oh man, yeah, it takes me back.
Fun time.
Yeah.
that's a
Fuck, bro.
No, I love it. That's the new Cardi
Well,
B song, right?
it is the also the British. It's weird, but the British used to call cigarettes foppish dandies, which I think is an odd
I
piece
get
of
it.
history. The Yankee. So did people? What did they give low key like macaroni to people? Would they throw it at the Italian people's feet, or was it?
I don't know. I didn't read
Well,
that
well,
much more
it
into
wasn't macaroni. It was like a term, right, or something. They-
Yeah, it was just a term.
Yeah.
They would call them basically a macaroni,
That's
That would be like
and it was like some
Italian people
kind
saying,
of
"Oh, you
fancy,
French fry," I
effeminate
guess.
Italian,
Yeah.
like well dressed sort of
Right.
type character. That's what they're saying about Yankee Doodle Dandy is like he was like a wannabe. He stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni. Like he just was pretending to be the foppish dandy.
See, I
of
don't
Italian.
listen to the lyrics to anything. I don't. That's my problem. I just sort of just whatever skate on by. I couldn't have told you any. I know macaroni's in the song.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know how. Yankee Doodle's a guy. He's on a horse, right?
Yankee Doodle Dandy is such a. I don't know how to describe it. That sentence is there's something so kind of silly about it. Just those words, right?
Yeah.
It's like very like bouncy and like playful or something. It's like you can't be like super hard and be like Yankee Doodle Dandy, motherfucker. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
You're not gonna hear Bruce Willis.
yeah.
You would like, but on the edited version.
yeah.
That's how
On
they
the
cover
AMC version.
yeah, when TNT plays Pulp Fiction in 20 years.
it. They censor it though. You hear
Doodle
him
was
say-
like another slang word.
Yeah.
For
So he'd say Yankee
Like an
Doodle
idiot.
Dandy, motherfucker, and then it would what else was on the
Fireworks
list?
Doodle Dandies.
My country, 'tis of thee.
or
Okay.
foppish dandies.
My country,
bring it
tis
back.
of thee. Ye grand old flag. These are a lot of bad songs. If you're gonna make any song right now that's a national anthem for America, What would it be? Because there's so many. There's so
Cut
much
my
better
life
songs.
into
Yeah, I think that's
pieces. That's the new American. That should be
that should be a last resort.
Look
Yeah.
who's going to jail
That
tonight.
should be the
Yeah, that should be a good one.
Oh, something old in Pink Floyd. just something to
You
drift,
lose me a Pink Floyd.
something to drift off to. That's,
I don't like the song. What's this? That one Queen Bohemian Rhapsody. I
Yeah.
could do without it. But I think that should be the American song.
Because it's overplayed, or because when you first heard it, you didn't like it.
No, just because everyone loves it,
And
I
it's got a
can't
gun in it?
Fucking stand it, and it does have a gun.
it's got
in
a
it.
gun in it.
And it's just everything, which is what America is. It's just everything. This country should not work.
It's a little operatic, which makes you think of fat people.
Exactly.
It's God. This is so America.
It
Somebody's
should be.
being tortured in it.
That Michael, at the very least.
And no one knows what it's about. I think that's the biggest thing.
He kills. He tells his mom
strong.
he kills a man at one point, but then
Oh,
they
hang
don't
on,
comment
Mark,
it
lean in and
anymore.
tell us what Bohemian
Yeah.
Rhapsody's about. I couldn't. Again, I don't listen to. I vaguely I remember that.
I think I know every word to that song, and I hate it just because I've heard it so many times.
that and Stairway to Heaven both got their like overplayed day in the sun.
Yeah, I blame Guitar Hero.
I've never listened to that song, Stairway to Heaven.
What do you mean you've never listened?
I've never listened to that song. I first heard that song referenced in pop culture as like a joke in Wayne's World or whatever.
How
This is
have
the
you not listened to
This is
this
the
song?
second most controversial thing since I don't have a problem with roaches. I don't know who I'm talking to right now.
I've never listened to that song, so I first heard it referenced as a pop culture joke, and so I just never. When I started digging into Led Zeppelin to listen to some of their music, I was like, well, I'm not going to listen to that because everybody makes fun of that.
Wait,
dumb
but
shit.
how do you not? How does it not creep? How does it not just come up? How do you know you haven't heard it and you just don't know you've heard it?
As far as I know,
probably-
I've
you've
never
probably heard
listened to
Stairway to
that
Heaven.
song.
If there's a bustle in your hedgerow, don't be alarmed now. It's
Yeah,
just
I
the
know what
spring
the song's
clean
about.
for the
I
May
know
Queen.
the gist of it, but
It's about when he
purely from pop culture references.
It's about when he kills Eric Clapton's kid, right? Is
That's
that what it's about? What is
one
it? This-
pushes him out of a
Clapton
window.
killed his
Pushes him out of a
Okay,
window.
so, yeah. I
That's
thought it was
it.
out of Stairway, but
It was-
I was actually confusing with
By-
Hotel California for a second.
No, that
Where he
kid
cuts
left.
them with their
That
steely
kid-
knives. It's like one of those.
When you see something referenced in pop culture and you see it made fun of. I grew up very,
You
Pentecostal and
haven't
shit,
listened
so
to it the same way I haven't seen Talladega Nights, or you haven't listened to it the same way like
I don't know which way you have.
He's never seen
I
Baby Boy.
fully
I
haven't
assume.
seen Talladega Nights.
Yeah, I've never just like listened to that song. I've never
Let
been
that
somewhere
slip
with
by.
that whole song played. I've heard parts of it, like I said, referenced in pop culture, and I'm like, okay, well, that sounds dumb.
What?
That's
the
wild because I've never listened to the song. It just always comes
It's
to
on.
me.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a trip. Oh.
Wow.
It's like ridiculousness on MTV. You've seen it.
You've
Whether
just
you want
even-
to, you have seen.
Yeah, maybe it just didn't make an impression. I don't know.
oh.
I've heard Pink Floyd. I hate them, so they made a deep impression on me. You
Well,
know what
you're
I mean?
just sober when you heard it.
Like you've heard Pink Floyd on mushrooms, though?
Yeah, man.
Oh, lay on your floor and just let Dark
I
Side of the
don't
Moon
want to.
play.
I don't want to. I shouldn't have to work that hard to like something.
It's just-
I mean,
You know what I mean?
I hear you, man.
Like if it was a girl, you'd not call her again.
right, but it's
If
it's
you had
the-
to lay on your floor and take the right drugs to like her.
Okay, wait. Tell me again. Tell me again how I wouldn't do this. Tell me again how I haven't done this repeatedly on multiple occasions, several times.
You should
in
have
the
to
past.
work that. That's what everybody says in Pink Floyd. Like, oh, you got to try it like this. You got to try. Like, I shouldn't have to work that hard to like
Okay,
it.
but
you
think
know?
of it like an ingredient, right? Like if I told you venison was the best meat ever, and you're like, oh well, not if you got to cook it. Like you just give it a little. You got to put a little effort into it.
I hear what he's saying. It's like Corona. It's like, hey, do you like this? It's like, well, yeah, you have to add 4 things to it.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then
no,
yeah,
but
to
you
make
don't
it-
have to add
it's like-
tahine and lime to Pink Floyd. You just got to add
It's like
just.
oatmeal. You just need one thing, which is drugs.
That's,
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Oh, I love drugs.
I challenge you to show me a drug that makes oatmeal good.
I've tried it with drugs, and it's still, you know. I mean, I was doing drugs when I was exposed to it.
All right, that's,
And you
I'm
still
not a
didn't hear it.
proselytizer.
Yeah,
I'm not here to
yeah.
speak on behalf of.
okay.
Everybody
It's not
has
for
their
me.
own experience.
Yeah.
We should do like a live stream where we just showed Jerry just like
The Wall?
Stairway to Heaven, yeah,
Oh.
and just like here's the song. They'd be like, wow, you know, oh, no, is that a guitar solo? Nice, nice,
Like we're showing teenagers old
Yeah,
phones.
yeah.
Like
pretty good. More of a hip hop guy, but
I don't really know what to do with this, but I could guess.
Do you like mumble rap? Are you a fan of that?
There's been a few things that I like. hip hop, sadly, I fall into artist I like, and then just get kind of stuck on that artist or whatever. So there was nobody from the mumble rap that really jumped out. At the time, though, when a lot of it was very popular, I had a lot of young people working for me on my crews, and they loved like the Lil Yachty and all that stuff. So I heard it all the time, and it wasn't
Well, that's bubblegum trap. That's not the same.
Oh, okay. But I wasn't like one of those people that was like mad at it. Like I was like, oh, I don't hate this, but I prefer Tupac. I'm just gonna go my way on this kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the Hotel California of rap. Yeah,
probably. That's fair.
Sorry, I keep saying Stairway to Heaven. I keep confusing the two. They're the same song to me.
I thought that was like Sugar Hill Gang or whatever. Like, isn't that like the beginnings?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
The hippie.
Yeah,
to the
the
hippie.
back when when lyrics were worse.
Right
than
after
when they
after
were-
Blondie.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a point there. I don't remember. Michael was about to say something. We got a little bit of time to kill. Jerry, we should dig into. I like this when we have real comics on the show. Sometimes we have, it's like we'll have people who are big, good personalities, but they're not really good stand-ups. And then sometimes we have people who are other artists, and they're not really good stand-ups. And then sometimes we have amateur comics, and they're stand-ups, but they're not great stand-ups. I don't know the last time we had a table full of good stand-ups.
Yeah.
Like we can actually talk stand-up comedy, and we didn't used to do
I
this.
get into some of that, man, because we've all been yapping about that. Damn, I wish we'd have got into that while he was here, because
What?
Wait, which
Michael
part?
has some strong opinions.
Well, we have time. we have time
You've been
right now.
railing in the on the interwebs
Oh,
about
yeah.
shorts.
how
I'm moving.
comics should be and where they should be.
I'm
and-
moving to Austin, and I do see some things, and I think it's comedy was gone for 2 years in the city, and I think the people who stayed doing it picked up some bad habits because the people that kept doing it should not have been doing it. And there's been a big brain drain or leadership in the scene that had kind of gone away. And I forget, I was like, I've been doing this for about 9 years now. And there are some things that like Andy told me when I started, or Rob or Sam told me when I started, or like Matthew Broussard, that I really appreciate that I heard. But one rule that I fully believe that should be implemented is if you bomb, you should have to give your drink tickets back.
Man, I
No
never
deal.
heard that, but Hunter,
Hold
No
up.
deal.
See, that's
you should have to
Get
give
your
your
jacket,
drink tickets
go
to
home.
the person that saved the show.
that's the. They should go. Yeah, they should go into a pot.
Yeah.
and then there should be a play of the game later on, and they should get your
the
tickets.
poor asshole that goes after you and has to dig out of that hole.
Yeah, I'm like, no,
should
buddy.
get your drink ticket.
Oh, that's a strong opinion.
I mean, but who needs to drink more?
That's
You
kind of
know?
the thing. Do you have to give them up, or do you get extra?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. If the first time you bomb in the room, now we need a spreadsheet. But the
Yeah.
first time you bomb in the room, you get 2 extra tickets. The next time you bomb in the room, they take all your tickets for the next month.
Yeah,
It's you got to show back up and earn your way back up.
that's fair.
I used to have the shorts argument with you probably.
Yeah, probably.
And a bunch of people.
I was ever arguing about the shorts ironically because if I'm at improv, there's no way I'm wearing shorts.
Of course not.
Right.
Of
Exactly. But you know why? Because improv has air conditioning that works. Right?
But if you're doing a warehouse show.
Absolutely not. It's 90% humidity in the city.
But also, I've changed my opinion on so many things because what we're doing changes, right? Like I grew up in the early 2000s doing stand-up, being taught by dudes who grew up doing stand-up in the 80s and the early 90s where everything was structured and those dudes were wearing suits and the idea of comedy was so much more formal. And then the internet happened and comedy became something that everybody's second grade teacher to their barista is doing. Like
Yeah.
once it became
Bobcat
just
Goldthwait
normalized,
showed up in
everybody's
jean
doing
shorts.
it. It kind of, you just sort of look up and you're like, you know what? What are the fucking rules? What are I don't even know what comedy is anymore. So now, if you're getting up there, if you're good at what you do and people are buying your bullshit, I'm not comfortable in
I would
shorts.
never.
You
do
ever
it.
seen-
But when I remember Don Learned like pulled me aside one time because I wore a T-shirt on his stage.
But he's another guy who's
Yeah.
Vegas rules.
But he had a
and-
nice room too.
Yeah.
And he pulled me aside and he goes, "Hey, the number one rule of this business is you need to look better than the people you're performing for."
There's business
So-
in the
so-
Which
show.
isn't even a hard stretch in
Right.
Cyprus.
I think
Which is-
I think
Tomball.
the DNA of that is the idea is you should be something special somewhat. You should look not like
I agree that
and that doesn't mean a suit or something. That's
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a dated way of looking at it. But the idea is you should kind of care a little bit.
If the
Even if you
person-
do wear shorts, at least look kind of fly. Or
if
something,
the person
you know what I
walking
mean?
in the
Like,
room to watch the show, I think if you're sitting, they should be able to see you and know that you're not one of them. And I don't know how to otherwise indicate
Something a
that, but
bit
sense it in some
special. Like, and again, obviously, there's no rules. You can just look like a piece of shit, and that could be like your stick or whatever. You can come
But that's
from that
so many
angle,
people's
but
shtick.
That's the thing. Looking like
There's a lot of people relying on that
slobby
shtick.
dude is like unoriginal and kind of hacky. Dare I say? I guess it's not material.
I'm
based.
nonconformist. Well,
He's
you're
kinda-
conforming very
yeah.
well to your nonconformity.
Yeah.
It's like the goth kids is like I'm different. I'm like, but why do you dress like every other one? At every
Yeah,
other
you
school?
even cut yourself in the same place. Like it's
Go
not-
diagonal. Jeez. No, I'm just-
I was telling Broussard, I was like, because he's a white guy, and I was like, you don't in comedy, you're actually. Hear me out. Like in comedy,
Hear me out.
for a white guy, for a white comic, he's a weirdly a minority comic because most white comics look slubby. There's like a flannel shirt and
Yeah.
a beard,
Same guy.
and like just like Matt in his lane of like this kind of yacht boat shoes type thing is a weird slice of a breed of comic. So
The
it's like.
Mulaney effect.
I guess Mulaney's kind of his own weird show busy, like
Yeah.
nah, and you notice like it's like this weird. Kind
I just
of,
meant as far as dressing, like
well,
Yeah.
so, but Mulaney does the same
Yeah.
thing. He actually has his own kind of brand, even though he's like a white comic that stands out amongst just the majority of them. You know what I,
I
mean?
think you kind of gotta find your way, like what feels comfortable to you.
Yeah.
I like wearing a suit on stage, but I go back and forth on it. You know,
I will say this: when I dress well and I feel confident in how I look, I always perform better.
yeah.
It could be at a mic, it could be at a show, it could be anything. But if I am wearing an outfit that I fully feel comfortable in,
Where is the
Yeah.
line between like physical comfort though and like prideful comfort, whatever that is? Where like at some a 3-piece suit would be very uncomfortable for me to do my show in.
yeah,
It feels weird.
Like,
It
well,
feels
and-
try hard, right?
It does, but
Yeah.
also I move a lot. Like there's a
You sweat through
I
that
can't
thing,
stand.
yeah.
I touch all 4 corners of the stage. I
Yeah.
pace a lot. My arms move. Like the restriction of that is completely off the table.
I came from a show. One of the first times I ever got to feature at the Improv, I opened for Andrew Schultz.
Uh-huh.
But I was so late because it was open house that day, and when I was a teacher, and I had to wear a suit, and I showed up, and the Schultz looked at me and was like, "What the fuck is this fucking hat?" Like, and the goddamn suit. I was like, I did not have time to change. I had to go up there with a suit. So it's kind of funny that like there's a generation that looks at you if you wear a suit on stage. It's like, what
What are you
this?
doing?
Yeah.
I've
What
thought a
is
lot of
this?
shit about
There's a certain flavor to a suit comic. Like I feel like certain styles don't match with a suit. Like you know what I mean? Like you can take every comic, and a lot of them would feel weird in a suit. It'd be disarm. It'd be like, well, this feels weird.
I always like wearing a suit because it's off character for this.
I feel like some comics.
See, that's the thing. I think you should own the character. I
Yeah.
feel like you just don't wear suits. Like you know what I mean? Like just and the person that you are doesn't wear suits.
You know,
I think
like-
we kind of get that.
Like some wrestlers, they get more powers when they wear certain things. Like blue robe Ric Flair was always stronger than like red robe Ric Flair for whatever reason. And I feel like Bruce in a suit is like a whole different level. He's like this now he's killing, right?
Yeah.
Like now he's gonna, or like Bernie Mac is always funny. Suit Bernie Mac though murdered. Like there's
Yes.
like God tier S tier level up there. So it's funny like that.
Heavy men like suits; they're flattering.
That's a yeah.
But
It's
more like Kingpin and less like a bell-bottom T-shirt.
trying to think among like the old white comics, like the ones who wore the suits for it's
I think Ron White wore a suit every now and then.
It's
Ron.
like a plain black,
Yeah.
like sports.
Yeah.
Sure, but I'd say his vibe, the whole like cigar cocktail
thing, it
thing, the
fits.
storytelling,
Loungy
that's
and
a
fit.
suit kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
But picture like I'm trying to think of a what did Bill Burr? Does Bill Burr wear a suit in any of his specials?
So
Or
Bill
why I
Burr's-
turned to him
think
when I
so.
asked that question.
So-
Does Bill Burr wearing a suit in any of his
So-
fucking specials?
There's probably, I'm sure he's in a suit out there somewhere, but Bill Burr's not a suit guy. He's like,
But that's
I go
my
buy a suit guy.
that's my question.
Like,
Somebody who moves and is that big and loud and you put that in a suit. Does it take something away or does it add something? Do you take him more seriously
know.
because he's in a suit?
Man, I think if I saw Bill Burr in a suit, I'd be like, why?
Yes.
Man, that'd be so
So many
strange.
questions. Your
to see.
first bit better be about this.
Yeah. I also wouldn't know what to do if I saw Dave Chappelle wearing an outfit that made sense ever. I mean,
That wasn't a
We've-
military tracksuit.
God, we've seen this man since
a
the early
jumpsuit.
90s, and he's never had a single good outfit. That's a 30-year career of
It's
Looks
part
like
of you
when
that
hit
wonders.
random and a selected character. Kind
Yes.
of a
It
thing.
does, but there's another part of you where it's like, is his hobby making his own clothes?
It has
Like,
to be.
is his-
There's no way they sell these in stores. Like, who's putting these patches
Do you
on
have
him?
a tailor friend that you're not? well, I wouldn't.
It's got to
credit
be
him
his
either.
wife. It's got his wife.
Somebody,
So-
absolutely, or his children together. They all make these things for him for
Oh man,
Father's Day and Christmas.
I was like, What do you think? I only think about like how bad the outfits would have been if he would have gotten that $50 million. I'm like, oh man, that's $5 million straight on bad outfits.
Elvis bad.
Leather. Had a deep V-neck. Damn, a leather jumpsuit. All right.
That's who thought that was a good idea. What else are the unspoken rules
Well, like all
about?
do you sell merchandise? Do you talk to the headliner if you're going to sell merchandise? Like, how do you feel about all that? You know, there's a lot of unspoken rules about what we do.
Merchandise. If you're a civilian watching a show, and I pitch merch, which I do, and I'll be honest, T-shirts were the difference between me making it out of the feature years.
Fuck yeah.
That turned from feature to headline. You couldn't make it through the feature years without merch.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for it.
I've only run into a number of headliners that wouldn't let you sell merch. And
I've had a
I thought
handful.
They were assholes.
I had a
Always
handful on the way up.
Like
and
you don't remember what it's like to be broke, dickhead? Come on, man. I'm gonna sell 3 shirts. I'm not cutting into your margins.
Well, but you gotta the other side of that is I've had features who, and I will never tell you no. Like I'm never gonna be that guy. But I've had features where I've come off stage the first night and they have set up a fucking pawn shop of stuff that takes up the whole table. And you come out, I'll bring a bag of shirts and I'll come walking out. And you're like, what? You own the lobby. You have branded the lobby with your shit. Now
You tell me you don't want one of these fidget spinners?
That's or whatever, because they'll have 60 things. Like
There's
I have
so many things,
one shirt, and if you watch me and I pitch merch, know that the whole time my soul is it just frame by frame deteriorates when I have to pitch merch because it's a joke I could be telling, and it's also telling of the forthcoming end of the show because it's like you stop the momentum, your pacing, your energy to sit there and go, oh hey, also if you guys want to help me, pay rent and shit. I need to sell some of these. And then, okay, now let's get back on the pony for 5 more minutes. We'll make one more lap, and then I'll drop you back off. So
Ralphie used to ask that you didn't sell merch, but he'd pay you to sell his.
An enormous amount, too.
An enormous amount.
He
More
would pay you
money
what
than
you
I
would have
was gonna-
made to sell
way
merch.
more
Yeah.
than what I was going to make.
Oh, that's
to sell
dope.
merch.
That was
That's
cool.
so nice. Yeah.
Hey, man, you just stand here and sell your shit and sell my shit and then fuck your shit and then here's like $800.
$1,000 at the
You're like,
end of the weekend.
That's exactly.
I got paid more by him than I did by any of the clubs.
Yeah, that's kind of like the current state of the industry, right? Like basically the merch is where you actually make it worthwhile.
Well, to be truthful, has the pay in stand-up comedy changed in I've been doing this 23 years and I could tell you that
It's gone down.
what features and headliners base pay is in a B room for a weekend has not moved a single
Used to feature at the Laugh Stop for $600, and I think at the end I was getting like $700.
Yeah,
to
like
feature
the
for
base
week.
pay is just absolute.
I mean, I got paid in pretty good crypto the last show I did. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Got some nice Dogecoin.
I got paid with an Amazon gift card one time. That was, I think, the low point.
What?
How much was the gift card?
It was $100. It was supposed to be $100.
That's cute. Like you won a company
set.
raffle.
And
No, like you had a bunch of unused white elephant gifts.
Yeah.
I got done with the show, and the guy was like, "Hey, I forgot to tell you, it's an Amazon gift card." I was like, "Oh, that's a big forget.
That's
Right.
wild.
That's a huge forget."
Are you
in the
giving me your
negotiation.
Amazon gift cards?
Yeah, that's what I was
like,
like.
My mom
"You
gave me
just
this at
have
Christmas.
like you had to put money into
The
that.
show
to
was
make
right
that
after
happen.
Christmas.
Of course it
I
was.
regifted somebody's.
How do you pay rent with someone else's gift card?
I
God.
don't know.
The only thing that is good now, I think, about comedy is that I think it's a lot easier now to kind of find your lane, if that makes sense. Like if you're the kind of comic and this is the subject matter you want to talk about, you can really carve out that lane for you, right? Like you have some guys who are really leaning into like the fake Republican towing the line kind of thing, or
Sure.
you have people who like I just talk about weed or I just talk about sex.
Yeah.
And there's a market out there for you. The algorithm will reward you on TikTok for that kind of shit.
Well,
Social media has made it so much easier to network
Yeah.
and find comics in other scenes
Yeah.
and kind of figure out the
to do
lay
all
of
of
the
that,
land.
but to back up what you're saying, it's because like anything else that gets overly saturated, right? Who knows right now? It's weird that we don't know how many people are in our industry. Like if you just asked a random comic how many comics are in the United States, I bet
many.
we would all agree on that. But past that, I bet we'd disagree by a magnitude of 10 on the guess. Like we don't have a clue. So once it becomes that many, then you really do have to specialize. Like if there's any hope of staying alive, you can't just hope you're going to be Jim Gaffigan talking about absurdities.
Yeah.
Or
Being
Seinfeld.
funny isn't
There's-
enough.
there's
That's
more-
not. That's just the base
You have to have
starting
a lane.
point.
You
There's
gotta
probably
find-
about 10 comics right now that are like huge mega crossover stars that everyone just kind of knows.
Burr, Rock, yeah.
Yeah. And
only-
everyone else that are, I mean, and some of these guys are doing great. Like they're not wanting for anything. They have their own lane. And that, I think that's really cool. And I think
Joe
yeah.
Coy, I think, is like the 9th most successful entertainer in 2022.
Yeah.
Or whatever the numbers are for like, however they rate that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 9th most across acting and all this other shit. And it's most people don't know any of his material.
Yeah.
He just has this insane international and kind of hyper specific following.
This is, I'm going to say
What about
this.
the puppet guy? He's
Dunham,
making millions.
right.
Right.
Millions.
Jeff Dunham.
Chase,
Oh,
made
yeah.
Chase made a really good point. Who used to tour, or maybe probably still
with
does
Joe.
with Joe
Yeah.
Coy, where he was saying he's like building a fan base is about connection. He goes, you can be really funny and kill it, but that'll just make people say he was funny and then
go-
nice
yeah.
seeing you. If you talk about like personal aspects of your life, say he's bringing the what is Joe Coy, the Filipino perspective,
Pinoy, yeah.
all the other people who have that perspective, like, oh my God, he's my guy. That's what makes fans come back. And like so
Russell
it-
Peters did that with the same
Yeah.
sort of with his demographic. It's that truth underneath the art is what people are looking for. They're where am I in that?
I
Where
don't
do I?
none of that.
Well, that
It's-
distinct, that
No,
that
it's not-
distinct specific relatability. This thing, like I absolutely 100% relate to this person because we're from the same boat type shit.
Yep. Yep. It's a
I will say this: I don't know what kind of weird racism I have, but I love opening for Asian headliners. My God, best crowds, absolute best crowds.
so I work. I'm trying to think of. I worked with Ali Wong a few times in the past, but it was before she really had a crazy following. So it was like it wasn't a predominantly Asian
Did
crowd.
you get like Bobby
She
Lee,
canceled a
Ali
show.
Wong,
She
or
canceled a show that I produced, and she just couldn't make it. But she packed the house just via
Oh,
her name
she's-
being dropped like once.
she's
kind of
so
a thing.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see. Some people you're just happy to see do well, and she
Yeah.
was so. This was so early. This might have been. Fuck. This could have been 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This could have been. I don't even remember. It was at LOL in San Antonio.
oh wow,
And we
another
did-
great room. Yeah,
We did a whole week together, and it was one of those things where because she didn't have this following, she was just on the like whatever that first round of clubs you get, when
Barely
you-
pregnant.
whatever you do. I just feel a little nauseous. So she was great, but that club is so vacuous. It's just
It's
airplane
a
hangar.
Huge. It's in a mall basically.
Yes, and we struggled the first, like the off nights, the
Uh-huh.
Wednesday and Thursday and Sunday. So there was nobody in there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just both of us coming back. And she's like, "Okay, so what do I do?" And it was like so openly, like helpless.
Yeah.
And it was just now. So when you turn on Netflix and she pans across, you're like, "That makes me." That's well earned.
I want to ask this because I feel like I've been doing comedy, I think, less than all of you all. I've been in it 9 years, and I think you said 23.
Yeah.
How long you been at this?
Since 2004.
2004. What about you?
So you're wait.
Jerry's making
So
us
I'm
do
like
the
at
math.
least like 12 or 14, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Oh,
I
you're
stopped-
2009 easy.
Yeah,
So-
something like that. I was 22 when I started.
So I stopped for about 2 years, and then I came back, and I feel like I have a much better perspective.
See, I left for 3.
Yeah. And do you feel like
Oh well, then the
stopping and
COVID
coming-
didn't count for. I just so I get to subtract.
Well, do you feel like stopping and coming back gave you a different perspective?
Yeah,
or to
I was,
you
I
all,
was
like
taking a
stuck. I
break.
was stuck. I could not evolve out of the drug fucking drunk guy, and my life was changing. I was getting married, and I had all this other shit happen in my life, but I didn't know how to move my material past that. And so I was doing my stuff, but it felt very insincere. And think about crowds, they know. They know when it's insincere. And it's, you see it with like radio DJs and shit just get stuck in the shtick and they can't get out of it. So it gave me a master reset because I went away and was able to just come back as who I am now and write for myself now.
Yeah.
But I also had the benefit of already doing all those shows and kind of knowing the way the scene worked.
Yeah. For me, I heard this song called Hotel California. It just changed.
Are you sure it wasn't
Stairway
Stairway
to
to
Heaven?
Heaven? Are you sure?
Was that what it was? Am I doing it still? It's the same.
Basically the same song.
Damn it! Yeah, it's
I
just
think it's
stuck in my
funnier
head.
that you just lean into that.
Well, then it was intentional. All right.
I've never taken a long hiatus like that. Like talking to Andy about his big break and you taking however many years off and but I've taken intentionally a couple of months off, and maybe it's different. But I think no matter how long you take off, it comes down to whatever makes you come back, right? It's if you guys quit for a period of time, it's sort of like why people start smoking again or something else. There's something needles at you and goes, you should do this. And when you decide to come back, I think you probably come back with a better idea just of what you're doing it for. Because at first, when you start doing stand-up, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what the goal is, right? It's, okay, we'll make funny things out of what happens in life and craft jokes and then get up and do them. But to what end, right? You don't. There's a certain point where, for me, I recognize that this was about a body of work. Okay, I want to make specials now every 2 years, and I want them to be good and great and well shot. And when I'm done, you can look at my life and go, man, that dude put out 10 fucking comedy specials. And I've got books and I've got things that I want to make. So it's easier now to think about what I'm doing because I've taken some time and kind of sat with it and gone, well, all right, I'm getting back in this pool intentionally versus...
That's what we always talk about is the intent. Is like when I came back with intent because the first go round, I just thought the job was to do drugs and drink and drive places and be funny.
And be funny when they put you on stage.
Yeah, and then just go home and come back tomorrow and do that shit again. And it wasn't really, I wasn't trying to get anywhere with it
but man, that's
anything.
Fun.
But I loved it. Yeah, I absolutely loved it and adored
era.
it. But it was like, 3 years out after my mom died, and I just, I wasn't in the right headspace and that kind of shit. And I was running my own company, and I was doing these like business network meetings in a Golden Corral at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was fucking killing the place with sober people. And I'm like, I hate my fucking job. This is not what I want to do, and I could be doing this same thing the way I used to do it, but
Jay,
better.
if it was leading orgies, the Golden Corral was not the place to do it. There's any job that drags you to a Golden Corral at 11 a.m. is not the place for you.
Yeah, I feel you. There's mold on the strawberries. I can't do this.
All right, so let's. We got to get out of here. We pretty much beat this one to death. Mark, you're sticking around for our next episode, but do tell the folks this week where they can catch you. Where's everything, Mark Hurtado?
So I'm going to be in Austin this week, or literally tomorrow. It's Buzzmill tomorrow and
Buzzmill's sick.
Wednesday, which I don't know who here's in Austin. But then if you're in Houston, I'm doing 3 shows. Friday the 8th, I'll be doing 2 shows at Secret Group at 8 o'clock and at 10 o'clock. And then I'll be running over to Rudyard's doing another show. It technically starts at 10, too. I'll be there at 10:30. It's a weird switch. Anyways, I'll be doing 3 shows this Friday, Secret Group and Rudyard's. And then also on the 9th, Saturday, I'll also be doing another 3 shows at the Secret Group and at Rudyard's.
Very cool. It's good to have you back in town for a stretch. Social media handles?
Yeah, hit me up on Twitter at MarkXMind, and my OnlyFans account is
I never know if he's kidding.
Yeah. No, and I don't know. Do people plug Instagram? Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I'm out there.
I ask out of
I'm out there.
politeness.
No, you're not gonna follow me.
Just Google my
At
name.
the Mark Hurtado, if you want to do Instagram stuff.
Michael, where's everything you?
Oh man, so I'm taking the bar exam July 26th, so I am doing no shows until August probably because I have to go hermit mode and study.
That's well, it's gonna be nice to have a lawyer in the family. What kind of law?
I'm doing government interest, civil rights type law.
How is this gonna help me?
Yeah.
Are you the least funniest answer?
I know. Are you a corporation that is being sued by the government?
Well, give me time. This is
He may own one.
Don't sell me short.
It's on my vision board.
God, being a lawyer is so boring. I can just see.
Is the city of Willis, Texas, considered government?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Right.
I may need to talk to you.
Government.
I mean, the word city is a stretch.
We are the Whiskey Brothers. Twice a month, that's when you can find us. We'll have another episode coming out in 2 weeks, and many, many chances to catch us still live. You can always find us under our individual names online. Sladeham, Jerry Wayne Longmire. TikTok, the place to catch Jerry. Me, I'm kind of hiding. Not a lot of social, but YouTube if you want to do anything. And then some other announcements to be made, but most importantly, August, the last week, I believe the 25th through the 28th. Are those dates correct that we're going to be in Louisville? So come catch us live. We'll see you guys on another episode soon.
I believe in good whiskey, and I believe in good times. I believe in good music, loud guitars, cold